Hello and welcome back to It Takes Dutch Courage. If you are a first time watcher, you still might already guess, but if you have watched us before, you know that the name comes from us brewing our own beer. We've had a few requests from people asking, are you going to do a brewing video? So here is a brewing video. Last weekend, the weather was absolutely amazing, so it would have been criminal not to do 2 brew days in a row. So on Saturday, we brewed a Belgian blonde, and on Sunday, we brewed a Weizener. This video is a bit of a compilation of both days because we're not going to show everything separately because that would take ages. We'll talk a bit through the process of what we're doing and why we're doing it. You also see us making some mistakes.
We are also not mentioning that we nearly forgot the hops.
And hopefully you'll enjoy this video, and we'll be sure to share with you the end results in a few weeks as well. But for now, let's start brewing.
This is the first time milling our own grain for brewing. So let's see what setting we need. It is adjustable, so let's see how it comes out. It's barely doing anything.
Let's have a look. Maybe a tiny bit too, maybe one notch back.
Eventually we found what we thought was the correct setting, so we started milling. It was nearing 11 o'clock on the Saturday and we really needed to get going.
Now that we milled our malt, time to put it in the
Water.
water and let it
Mash.
mash. So let's get it in.
Now all the malts are in there, and we are leaving this to stew for about an hour.
Yep.
And then we've got this pump going on here that every now and then we'll make sure we'll pump some water over it. In fact, let's demonstrate. All the way on the ground. And as you can see, the water is completely clear. But you'll soon see the difference.
It's already getting yellower.
And it was all done. There we go. Now we'll leave it. Finish.
Now it was time for a cup of tea and to practice our weighting. Next up though was getting some measurements.
Let's give it a quick measure before we start sparging.
With a refractometer, you can measure the gravity of your liquid, and that, if you do that a couple of times throughout the process, you will be able to calculate your alcohol by volume.
(1062). Let's see what we should have.
And this is the entire reason that we built this homebrewing rig, because a very strong Rene is now going to pull the mash tun out of the kettle. I think you might need a handle for that.
Yes, that
Behind
would
you.
help. Let's go for the first stage. Oh,
That was two
That's all
stages.
okay. That works too.
This is going to be a very long sparge because it's not the actual lid that sometimes causes some congestion, because as you can see it does actually go and disappear, but it's the actual wort just not going very quickly through all 6 kilograms of grains that are currently in here. But it's nice outside, we've got time, and in a bit we'll just open ourselves a beer. The sparging is really slow going, so what better to do than just to open a home brew. It really took a while, and we really needed to help it through a bit. It's not ideal, but we hope that also it did get the chance to spend a bit more time in the malts. So hopefully we might have lost some time but gained some alcohol by volume eventually. As you can see, it's quite dry already at the moment. So we've turned up the temperature for the kettle, for the boil to start, and we'll be lifting this out soon. And then we get to a boil. It's 3:30 at the moment, so that kind of tells you as well how long this actually took. It is what it is. It's still lovely outside, so we're not complaining. If anything, it's a lovely day to spend out on the balcony and to sip our beers and to just enjoy the view. But it will leave us a bit colder when we do the cleaning, and we get to do it again tomorrow, because today we're brewing our Belgian blonde, and tomorrow we are diving straight in with the Weizener as well, because it's going to be another day like this, so it would be rude not to.
A plant spray is a very useful tool to keep the foam that develops under control. So you just keep spraying until the boil settles and you no longer have to be afraid of the foam completely overtaking the entire kettle, which is very messy.
There we go. It's boiling. Eventually our goal is to grow at least some of our own hops. It would be impossible to grow all of them because there are way too many varieties, but hopefully for our core beers we can do at least some of them. until then, we are fully reliant on buying hops. There's either dried leaves or pellets. We are using pellets because they are easier to freeze and don't lose as much of their potency when you do that. I wish I could let you smell this because it's absolutely lovely. Hallertau Mittelfrüh. For this one we need 50 grams, so I'm going to weigh that off, and this beer is boiling for 90 minutes, and the full 50 grams of hops are going to go in for the last hour. So that's about 20 minutes to go, I think, maybe 15. So let's weigh them off already and then have them ready to put in.
The hops are ready to go in now. 1 hour left in the boil. They smell lovely, like many of the things in brewing. Let's get it in. Let's get it a bit of... Ooh. Right. And now we wait again. One thing that's new that we're trying in this brew is using a little bit of Irish moss. I don't know if you can see it. It should clear up the beer a little bit, although it's so murky that I'm not sure if it's going to make much of a difference, but we'll see what happens. We're only adding this for the last 15 minutes of the boil, as we do with the sugar, which is now going to be weighed. Adding a bit of sugar to just bring up the strength of the beer without adding yet more grains. Something that's not very atypical for Belgian beers. So let's get some sugar. Sugar acquired. Adding this to the mix as well. We're using light brown sugar in this case. Adds a little bit of color, but that's not a big problem. We are not... Ow. We are not perfectionists, as you may have been able to tell. There you go. And now we wait again, but this time just for 15 minutes, so that's not too bad. We have added a cooling spiral into the boiler. Let me just turn it down a little bit so you can see. 2 hose pipes coming in for cold water to cool down the wort as soon as possible. The quicker, the cleaner it gets. You can only do it so quick, and we don't want to waste too much water either. But the boil is done. We're getting near the end, finally. So let's turn it off. There we go. That's the end of the boil. Let's get the hops out as well. And then we will start the cooling process. Let's not waste let's not waste any of the precious taste of the hops. And this will be just about good enough. It's just mostly knock in there now.
It has nicely boiled down to about 24 litres as well. So we've lost 5 litres in the boil.
Yeah, it's, well,
which is decent.
I was just below 29, so 4.5 maybe,
Yeah.
just over 4.5. But yeah, you can see the spiral here as well. Spiral which will help cool down the wort. Because if we check now, oh,
You can do it
no, I'm not so sure.
because you can't B&Q it over here. Yeah, that one's a bit weird. If you try the outer one, the outside one, that one is, I think, a bit better. Oh.
So we've turned it back on, but without power actually heating it up, so we can actually keep track of the temperature. It's still 100 degrees because it doesn't drop that quickly. So let's turn on the cooling water and see the temperature drop. You can see there's quite a bit of stuff in the beer. It will get filtered by the filter, so the final beer will not be this murky. But it's a lot murkier than we usually have. But it's okay. It's fine. Yeah, let's do the cooling. I
Let's do
will
the
go
cooling.
downstairs
Yes,
and you will stay here.
I will stay here.
Right.
It is now 7:15, and after the, I think, longest brew day that we've ever had, we are now going to put the wort into the fermenter. So finally, so let's give it a splash. Yeah, that is murky. We have a lot of sediment here.
But it's not a big problem. It will sink to the bottom.
But it will.
Now we add the yeast. We usually use dry yeast. It tends to work perfectly fine for us for these sizes of batches. You could make a starter for your yeast, but usually it starts just fine in the final brew anyway. So here we go.
Yeah, I think we're just around 20 litres into the fermenter. So
Not bad. Now
Let's
we
lid it
close
up.
it up.
Nope.
There we go.
Now we wait again. And clean.
Oh yeah,
And clean.
the cleaning part, yes.
But what are we brewing today, Rene?
Well, yesterday we went for a Belgian blonde style beer. Today we're going for a German Weizener. Biggest difference is that for the Belgian blonde, it's mostly just regular barley malt, Pilsner in our case. But for a German Weizener, you want to add a lot of wheat malt as well. Our recipe is about 50-50 Pilsner and wheat malt. It's quite a straightforward recipe, not much faff around it. So another good one to try out our new setup a bit more a recipe that we're already familiar with. So let's get brewing.
Again.
But before we start brewing, let's get milling.
Let's crush it. So yesterday after the brew, I asked the Brew internet if they had any suggestions initially to make the mash go a bit quicker. So I was thinking of putting something in the mash that doesn't affect the beer, the taste or the colour, but that will aerate the mash a bit more so it can all, sieve through. But then we got a tip that you can condition the malt a bit with a bit of water spraying over it. That will just dampen the malt, and then it should make the crush a bit softer while it's still keeping intact. Because what you want is for the husk to just be cracked and be open, but not completely obliterated. So we might just try that and see if that one happens. See if that one works. Who knows? We are crushing it. If we are ever scaling this up, so if we were ever to go commercial, we might want to have a look at some bigger mills, although it says that you can mill 30 kilos an hour with this, which I do believe, but it will be a very long hour. But with all this space, it would be really rude not to consider doing something a bit more with our brewing, because we simply love it. And look at this. This is just a perfect crush, if you ask me. So I hope that our Sparge agrees with that as well later on. After a lot of waiting, we are now back at the phase of cooling the wort as soon as possible. And Renee is taking a picture of me recording this, apparently. So yeah, let's see how quickly it cools down. Keep distracting me. Keep distracting me. And I'm going to use the warm water that is now flowing down into the garden, nearly onto the cat who is relaxing over there, to clean the fermenter and get that ready. It's also a brand new fermenter, so very exciting. And let's get everything ready for our second brew. For this brew we have added a bit of sugar, which we normally don't, but we do think that with us leaving the sparge outlet for too long, there was too much water in it, so it was rather thin on the alcohol by volume. So we have added a bit of light brown sugar. Maybe it's like a miracle thing, and it makes our beer even better. That's why we love experimenting, and it's also why we love not selling any of it yet, because we can just go and do as we please. So be interesting to find out what that does to our beer, but we won't know until probably about 6 weeks at least. That's the hard part of beer brewing. Another long wait until we can actually taste if it actually ended up like we wanted to.
Now that we've malted our, and now that we melted,
Take 800.